Hey everyone, welcome back to the Design Duo with Sky and Roxanne. We have our guest speakers with us today, Mike and Zach from ProCustomandSecurity, and we're going to talk about the importance of the security systems, but also surround sound and many more options that they offer, which we also have included in our showroom here at Design to Sell and at Allure and cannot live without.
It's incredible the technology that you guys can bring to a project, whether that be residential or commercial, and you guys are here to talk to us a little bit more about that and tell all of our viewers a little bit more about how they can prepare for the future and also secure their home with the security systems and things like that, but also improve the life within their home and make it more efficient as well.
So I think it's something too that most people don't fully understand the importance of having that in your home or preparing your home for that when they're building or renovating and things like that. So first of all, I really want to start off with you guys introducing yourselves, how long you've been in the industry, and what you love about what you do.
Well, I'll start. My name's Zach Gunderson. I've been in the industry for a year now. I've learned a lot, so many different things as it relates to the technology, what it's capable of, and the importance of getting wires in your walls while you're in planning, designing, and the construction phase. Mm-hmm. Very important. In the short time, I guess I've been with the company, I found that talking to a lot of our clients and hearing a lot of their feedback is they wish they would have put more wires in the wall, beforehand, because they get to the point where I want to have speakers outside. I want to have speakers in the bathroom. I want to have speakers, in the living room, and they only wire in, a couple spots, and they kick themselves in the butt for just, not doing.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to do it later.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to run wires and get things set up when you got sheetrock on the wall,
right.
and
or even shiplap on the ceiling, and you want to add some speakers, and you're like, oh, how are we gonna get up there and make these holes in the ceiling without patching them and everything? So.
Exactly.
It's more costly as well when you do that. Yep.
How about you, Mike?
Well, I'm Mike Bratcher Jr. Been with the company for about 3 years. Mainly just doing like back-end office stuff, the invoicing and stuff like that. But I've started to get my feet wet when it comes to the technology and our installations. And yeah, the one thing I've noticed is a lot of people don't understand the importance of a pre-wire when it's in the construction phase because like I said before, it's a lot more economical when you decide that you want speakers, surveillance system, security, home, video, audio. And a lot of people think like electricians will take care of that problem for them. Like we mentioned, we're a low voltage company, wondering if you have anyone lined up, and they'll suggest, well, I got my electrician, and they don't deal with that. They deal with, high voltage stuff. And so
I have an actual personal experience that I want to share is when we were first opening up Design to Sell, and my plan was honestly to have an Alexa because I thought that that's all I would need for music and that's what I'd been used to. But then what ended up happening was you guys approached us and you said, let's go to lunch. And I ended up coming back and all of a sudden we're wiring in a surround sound, which honestly sets the entire vibe here in the office every single day. Mm-hmm. When the music's not working, we are almost panicking because it's so awkwardly quiet out in the showroom when you're working with clients. But just having that even music throughout the entire showroom makes such a good positive atmosphere too. Sure. Mm-hmm. But then there's been many times also being on the north side of the tracks over here that we've had many police officers coming in to check our cameras for different situations that have happened. Luckily not for us. But another thing that I'm so grateful for that you almost take for granted is having those security cameras on a daily basis and being able to sit back in my office and see who's walking in the front door or what trucks are pulling up out back and so forth. And so having that as a personal experience, I literally could not live without it. And so when we did Allure, we were like, we have to have surround sound in here. We have to have the security cameras because
it's a beefy system too, and it's something I think, especially whenever you have a larger space or let's say a whole home or commercial application, if you just have one or two speakers here or there, it makes a huge difference if you upgrade and do something where it's a surround sound and you can pinpoint the areas where you're going to do the most entertaining or have your main walkway. For us, we can play music outside at Allure. So during Christmas time, that was super cool. We played Christmas songs and things like that. And it just, like you said, sets the atmosphere.
And you can hook it up to your Bluetooth, which is nice too, and play your own songs. I got so addicted to the music here that I actually did the surround sound outside at our place on the lake, where we've got it outside on the deck, and the rock speakers down by the beach. So not only
which is the coolest
interior applications, but using it as exterior applications too, versus just running, like a Wi-Fi based system. So with that being said, I want to go into the Wi-Fi system versus the wired in system. And I think a lot of people, when we're as designers saying, hey, do you guys want to run wires now, are going, well, I'm just going to buy this system for $200. That's a Wi-Fi system. But I want to hear the difference between the Wi-Fi and the wired in, and why the wired in is better.
Well, Steve Jobs was once asked in an interview, if laptops and tablets would do away with the personal desktop computer. And his answer to that was he used a truck and car analogy, where you're always going to need the trucks to do the heavy lifting, right? Cars can do the lightweight lifting. So we recommend to our customers, and I mean anybody, even if you're not using us as a customer, I mean any low voltage contractor out there, to get the wires in the wall. They're going to do all the heavy lifting. They're more secure.
Because you never know when your Wi-Fi is going to be
hacked. Also, if it's wired in versus having Wi-Fi, like that's something from our previous meeting we asked about, and we were like, okay, well, what's the big difference, And I just feel like a lot of people go with the Wi-Fi because it's less expensive, and maybe it's something that's more of like a quick fix for a type of project where they don't want to mess with getting in the walls, and they've gone that far, but doing the low voltage wiring, like you said, like it doesn't need to be a new construction. It could be during a renovation if you want to just have it like if you're laying in your bathtub and you want to be able to play your music throughout your whole bathroom or something. If you're doing that renovation there, it could be a nice thing to do. And then you don't have to worry about your entry cameras being hacked or something like that, where you've got your doorbell ringer on the front door and things like that. It's a secured system, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes. You can't beat the insulated conductor, which is we recommend like to our customers, like TVs hardwired, your networking, cameras, speakers, all that stuff, just because we live in that world where there's a lot of cybersecurity issues, and yes, your cameras can get hacked into. I mean, there's been cases where
maybe you've seen on the
systems,
news.
You've seen on the news with baby monitors.
Yeah, baby monitors.
You've seen it on that news.
Exactly.
So that's a perfect example right there. That alone, would creep me out to the point of it just makes it so worth it.
Yes.
And then on top of that, nothing beats performance-wise. Nothing beats insulated conductor. When everything's hardwired, you're still on the internet, whether you lose Wi-Fi.
You're going to have the fastest speeds because you're hooked right in.
Yep.
And another thing that people I guess are unfamiliar with right away when they think they're going to do everything wireless is if you're going to do everything wireless, well, you have to have good wireless coverage. Right. So what we do is we wire in access points that give you wireless coverage throughout your house.
Right.
And that's very important.
So you don't lose the speed because you got 4 people who are using things on the internet at one time, like you do with Wi-Fi.
True. Or all your neighbors are using it at the same time. And I mean, absolutely. That's a valid point. I guess I never put that into perspective either on how that actually works.
It can be connected to your phone, though. You can't access this from your phone. Like, let's say you have cameras or something like that. You can view this.
Yeah. That'd be via Wi-Fi. Yep. But your TVs, a lot of people, I'll just stream my TVs through the Wi-Fi, and then it's like, and then have fun having it glitch out here and there, if it's hardwired, it's not,
movie and then it's like buffering, and you have to wait for that to catch
Get
up.
the ring of fire,
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, speaking from experience, I had a little issue one Christmas where I had ordered gifts for my children via Amazon right to my front doorstep. They disappeared, and after that, you guys came out and put some cameras around my house. So I am thankful for that. Having that security of knowing that I can rewind those if I need to, or see if somebody's pulling up to my home. And same with the security cameras here. I'm literally hooked. And now it's one of those things too, like a master bathroom. Let's go into primary bathrooms. Mm-hmm. Like Roxanne mentioned earlier, coming up and being more creative. Like everybody loves to listen to music, or a lot of people when they're taking a shower, getting ready in the morning. And so having that pre-wired in to be able to put the speakers in the ceiling or in the shower itself and things like that is a whole nother level of experience for you to enjoy in your home or surround sound. And I know it can be expensive for people to think of that as a lot of people think of it as an afterthought sometimes, even like window treatments, for example. Oh, we need window treatments. Oh, maybe a surround sound would have been nice. But like you guys mentioned before, even getting the wires in the ceiling or in the walls prior to, doesn't mean you have to do it all right away, but at least it's wired in where you can cut them in later.
Yeah, we just want to get, get wires in anywhere you're going to have a desktop computer per se, anywhere you plan on, maybe plug it in your laptop, wherever you're going to have your televisions.
Yeah.
We run. We want to run wires and get them up in your soffits on each one of your corners in case you guys want to do surveillance down the road. You know what I mean? It's
the wires don't cost much.
No, the wiring point
very
is
economical.
It's very cheap and
Well, talking about window treatments also, this is a huge thing that we kind of try to bring up a lot of times to our builders and people who are renovating and getting down to the studs in those areas as well, because window treatments oftentimes are an afterthought. And I feel like especially if you're building a house, you have to think, especially on the lakeside, you want to have like sunglasses for your windows. You don't want everyone looking in.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you have the wires in the walls and you want to wait and do that in sequence, then you can do that later on down the line, and then you can have it remote controlled and never have to get a 12-foot ladder to get up to those windows to replace the battery pack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we feel that, people do a disservice to themselves when it comes to not planning for low voltage technologies, because like I said, it's an afterthought, and then it's more costly when you want to do it, and sometimes you can't just based off the home structure. Like if you want a speaker here or a camera there, well, we can't based on your rafters are running this way, we can't do it.
And also that speaks to, it's just technology in general. I mean, it could be window treatments, it could be your speakers, it could be your cameras, it could be your lights, it can be your HVAC. So for people who are gone for a season and then want to heat up their house before they come back, it could be something they do on their phone, and they don't even have to, they could be at the Fargo airport heating up their house if they wanted to.
And that's the cool thing is the home automation stuff, like where you can control your home when you're not even there. Like and then same with the surveillance cameras and stuff like that. Access, get on your app and you can access it. We can set cameras to like give you alerts and set perimeters. Like let's say if something crossed the perimeter and it texts you alert, and you open up your phone and you got your camera right there, and that's just my husband pulling in the driveway.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and I had many clients, and around this area, it's a pretty common thing too with lake homes that aren't being attended all winter, and then all of a sudden they come back, they've been broken in, things have been stolen, and they have no security camera and no way to catch anybody in the act of doing it. So therefore, no chance on getting back anything that they've lost. Whereas thinking ahead, planning ahead, now more than ever, technology has obviously grown from the time we were little and everybody was little to the time now, even in the last 5 years. It's just incredible how much the technology has affected our entire world. And I think it's just going to keep getting obviously bigger and bigger. So staying ahead of that, with crime rates being higher and everything, it's protection for your family.
And your family and your assets. Like on the security side, when you're talking about people being away when they got lake cabins, we can install like flutter sensors, heat rise or drop sensors. So like you'll get a notification if like your furnace went out and you don't want your pipes to freeze in the winter, so then you can act on it.
And that's another common problem around
It's
here.
a big problem.
Pipes freezing because the heater's not up high enough, or
And you're
the furnace
notified
quit
more
working.
quickly, so that way you can rectify it before it becomes a whole house issue, which we have actually had a couple of projects where
Even
we've
just
had,
recently.
Yeah. We've had water damage, and it's like it gets everywhere.
Yep.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
it's
it does.
terrible. It's terrible. So yeah, that
And
would
it's
be
one of those
awesome.
things, like I said, that people don't necessarily always plan for in the budget, but if they at least can get it wired, like we said, that basically sums it up. At least get it wired. They can do as little or as big of projects as you want them to do. So for instance, we just did this project together last year up on Big Floyd, where the client just wanted a sound bar and his TV and then a couple subwoofers or other speakers, and you guys did that, and it was great and simple. So it can just be something simple like that will add to your overall space, or as big as you want to go.
I was going to add to that too, something I think that's overlooked that as we're talking would be a great, example for people to use this is, especially if you have land and you haven't developed that land yet and you've got a shop out there and you park your toys in there, things like that, where you're not there all the time. I mean, security for that would just be perfect. So.
And
There's a
correct
lot
me
of
if I'm wrong,
places.
but I'm pretty sure now we have some neighbors over here on the north side of the tracks where we're at that have used our cameras, that our
Yeah.
cameras have been facing their building for multiple incidents that have occurred. And I believe they just had their own installed, which I'm pretty sure. So having that and them seeing how ours was working kind of intrigued them to get their own system going, because you just never know. You can't really trust anybody out there nowadays.
Hopefully you don't have to use it for that reason, but if you don't have it and wish you did, you're going to kick yourself.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't understand like all the capabilities and functionalities that your basic surveillance camera can provide, even security, like just
Or monitoring your kids
yeah.
if they're old enough to babysit.
Yep,
There's
exactly.
lots of instances.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So besides the surround sound and the security, what else do you guys offer at Pro Custom and Security?
Well, basically, any complete design plan that goes along with running low voltage wire.
Yeah, we'll get into.
I know you guys
we'll
did the
get into-
central vac.
Yeah, we'll do central vacs.
Yeah.
We'll do networking, a little bit of networking.
And that's basically everything you have hooked up to the internet that you want to run with an app.
Yep.
We deal with, we're not a Starlink isn't one of our vendors, but we have customers that'll buy Starlink, and we'll go in and do the networking for that and install it for them. At the same time, we do key card access systems. A lot of people are buying into that just because, like especially commercial, where you don't want any disgruntled employees, and you don't have to worry about them keeping a key.
Yeah.
Just cancel
That's
their
true.
fob and program another one.
I should do that.
Yeah.
No, I don't have many disgruntled employees.
And there again, it's an investment, but at the same time, if you got to change your locks all the time, so that's
True.
spendy itself.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. I'd be wise for larger companies and
Yeah.
corporations,
Yeah.
things like that. Absolutely. That's a good thing to know. I did not know that. So tell us where you guys are located at.
512 Washington Avenue, Detroit
Right
Lakes,
up
Minnesota.
here by
yeah.
Kickin' Nutrition on North Washington. They've got a beautiful office that we just happen to help with.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And
Oh.
Did a great job. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
thank
you guys give free estimates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. So now I am actually in the midst of having these guys add 2 more speakers to my backyard on one of my trees, 2 trees. So it's going to be kind of like surround sound. So we've got the 2 rock speakers down by the beach, the 2 speakers off the house up front, and then I'm going to add 2 more on 2 trees. So they're outdoor speakers. So outdoors, indoors. What are some cool landscaping projects that you've had done for exterior things? Because I think we're all thinking interior, but we also like to enjoy our time outside in the summer, especially being on the lake. And what are some ways that you can incorporate those exterior speakers?
Well,
Besides what I just mentioned.
just like what you mentioned,
Yeah,
a lot of
pretty
people will
much.
do, rock speakers if they want to incorporate that in with if they have a rock patio or a retaining wall of some sort.
A lot of people do you speakers on the deck, back deck or whatever, and if they're living on a lake, they'll have the rock speakers down there. So it all you get that whole sound.
And you can do underground outdoor subwoofers too,
Yes.
correct? Okay, so that's going to be like my next thing. Because I think that's really cool. Now, I want to talk about media centers, like media rooms, like theater rooms, okay? Because you guys definitely specialize in theater rooms, right? And so what are some unique effects? I know that, what's the thing called that you can put underneath the riser so that basically when there's a loud action-packed scene in a movie, it kind of shakes your...
In-floor subwoofers.
Yep.
Okay, but there's another word for them that I know there's another word for. Is it like I want to say like tremblers or something? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But yes, they're in floor,
Yeah.
but you can feel the vibrations when that action-packed movie is
Yep.
going on. So like if you really want that full effect with that in-home theater, you guys can do that.
Yes.
And now those have become like huge in the last however many years too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of projector screens and stuff like that. We're actually started getting into golf simulators as well. We're gonna put one up at 512.
Cool.
That's gonna be our experiment.
Yep.
Yep. And we've been kind of helping the sandbar with theirs, but that's kind of been put on hold for a little bit. So
Yeah, and so you guys basically anything to do with any type of technology, and thinking about technology, like I said, as not only just a luxury, but also like a necessity. Like it is the way of the future. And so we want to think about how it affects our ambiance and our mood and the whole vibe that it sets for like an office space here or in your home. And for me, I will be the first to attest. I was a non-believer when I first came into this building and was shown all these things from you guys. But now it's like I literally, like I said,
We can't function without
we can't
it now.
function without it. And the second that my music goes out, I'm like, Vinny, call Vinny. Get Vinny over here. We got to fix this music. Because it's so awkward and quiet. And it's just not the same having, you walk into an office now and you can probably recognize this too. I mean, all of us here can, but you go into somebody else's office and they've got a radio playing in the corner. Mm-hmm. I mean, I pick up on that like immediately
absolutely.
now. Where before I would have maybe never thought twice about it, but now it's like, hey, look what you can have. And I mean, when we want to turn up our music, when we're having like a little in-store party,
Powwow.
or in the mornings when I get here before everybody else, sometimes I'll just crank it, and we've got
There's a party
three
mode
different
setting, so that way you can play it inside, outside,
Yeah.
and go up to
Yeah.
whatever volume you
There's
want.
3 different subwoofers in our building, 3 or 4 that they've nonchalantly hidden kind of throughout the showroom, and so it's really cool to have that bass going. And
We can
like,
really feel the music.
you can feel the music, exactly. And I think again, life is all about experience, and interior design is all about experience. So just keep that in mind for future renovations, new constructions, additions, to realize and think like, how are we going to use this space as a family, and like, what do we enjoy about music? Everybody loves music. Security systems, all of that. Do you guys have anything else to add to today about what you do or anything we've just discussed?
The one thing I kind of wanted to add is if you install a security system, a burglar alarm, where you have a call center and third party, answering any alarm, your insurance company gives you a pretty decent
That's a good.
decrease in your premium for having that. And if you have a surveillance system, cameras kind of hinge to that, it can better the percent.
That totally makes sense. Yeah,
they don't like
that,
to tell you that though.
Yeah, they won't come out and they won't come out
Interesting.
and volunteer
Yeah.
that, but
Sure.
but we will
Yeah.
give you guys a certificate that says you
Yep.
you have this installed professionally with the equipment, and you give it to your insurance company. They'll
Get a better premium.
yeah.
Well, that's a great thing to know for business owners too. We do have a security system that way at Allure, where you walk in, you got to punch in a security code. Otherwise, the cops are getting called, and that's awesome to have that security of if somebody comes and tries to break in the middle of the night, I don't even have to necessarily rewind camera footage. It'll call the police station directly, and they'll show up. So that's amazing to have that sense also. Good
And
point.
same with like fires too. The fire department will be dispatched if
Right.
a smoke alarm goes off or whatever.
That makes you sleep good at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps. Yes, for sure. Anything else you guys want to add today?
No, you guys have been great
Yeah.
and covered a lot of things, so thank you.
Awesome. So once again, we have Zach and Mike here from ProCustomandSecurity right here in Detroit Lakes. You guys give them a call if you need any of that information we just talked about and adding that to your home. And we are signing off here with the Design Duo today. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.